Hello everybody, Beth's Golden here. Today I was playing with some silicone molds by Prima. I believe this is a new line out. It's part of their Finnabair. And I made from them these beautiful wings, and they're still drying, but there are a couple of things that I learned as I was working with this mold that I wanted to share with you. One of which is regarding this piece right here, the heart locket. At first, this is what I got, and it pulled out, as you can see, on the edges right there, and kind of fell apart. But that's okay with what I'm using it for. The scruffier, the better. However, I did learn a technique that helped me with that, and that is so you would get this doesn't come apart when you pull it out. I'm going to share with you what that is. So I'm using their silicone mold along with their paper clay. It comes in a package like this. When you're not using the paper clay, they say to really seal it up well because it is an air dry clay. It has a very interesting texture to it, and you want to work it in your hand a bit to condition it. And so I pull off about what I think I'm going to need. And then as I'm working with it, I just make sure that I seal up the excess because I don't want it to get dried out. And so what I'm going to do first is just work with this in my hand, kind of soften it up a little bit. It's not going to get real loose like a Play-Doh would or some of the other clays that you would cook would. I've noticed that it is a bit drying because it is air dry, and it is, I believe it's made out of a paper fiber. So I'm just kind of working this and just loosening it up some. Great hand workout. And I'm going to do this piece first because I want to give it some time to kind of set up in that mold before I pull it. These you can pull pretty quick after, but for this one, what I'm going to do is I am going to take it and just make a long, skinny line, like a worm, like you would do as a kid. Okay, and then once I get it pretty thin, I'm going to take and just push it in, making sure that I leave the edges intact. So I'm just going to kind of push it all into that mold, just like that, and I'll put the centerpiece in just a second. But I just want to make sure that this top piece right here is all one piece. I don't want to piece it together like you can do on some other portions of the mold. All right, and then I'll just take this and just push it on in here. Making sure to get it pretty flush with the edges. Now, I do want this to have a bit of a flat back because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be using it for yet. So I'm just going to take one of my, knives that every craft knives or whatever this is called, spatula, metal works better, I think. Push it down first just to make sure I get it in all the nooks and crannies. And then I'm just going to take and start on the mat because it's flat, and just gently with a sawing motion go through it like so, and that's going to give you your nice flat back. Okay, and now from here I'm going to go take this with a piece of this and work on my next piece doing the same thing. So now I'm going to go ahead and start to gently pop them out, and I'm going to do this one last. And they should come pretty much right out. There's the first one. Thing is, if you want to mold it so that it's like this, you can. So you can kind of spruce it up and it'll dry with a little bit more dimension and height. Okay, and now the test. There it is. You want to be a little bit careful as you pull it out. You want to pull from the bottom up, and then you're really going to want to stretch that out on the top right there, and that will help you get your locket. There is some cracks, but that doesn't bother me. That's going to be perfect for what I'm going to use this for. Okay, so I'm going to let these dry overnight, and then once they're dry, they're ready to be painted and used on a project. Until next time, happy crafting!